Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be doing a video which is about some scary things that happened to me when I was younger, happened to me and my family. So I'm going to go all the way back to the beginning and explain some things with you. Starts off with a few little things and then it just escalates into big things. Some of you may not believe in this sort of thing, that's absolutely fine. But until you have things happen to you, you don't really know yeah, some people believe, some people don't, and I completely respect that, but this is what happened to me and my family, so I just wanted to share that with you, and I hope you enjoy the story. So starting off, we lived in a house on a street called Tintern Close, and this was in Eastbourne in Hampden Park, and I must have been about 9 or 10 at the time. And it was little things like taps coming on, and it wasn't just like water gushing out, it was the handles turned at the same time, and it was really bizarre. And I just remember like so many different members of the family coming down going, the taps are on again, and things like that. And it started off with small things, and just having that eerie sense that every single time you walked into that house, if you had been out and then you'd come in, you'd always feel like you were never alone, even when you were the only one in the house. Like, it was a really strange feeling in that house. And this went on literally from the day we moved in until we left. So moving on, when I was about 12 years old, this is going back 23 years, things started happening with the loft. And the loft is mainly the whole point of this story, because everything that happened stemmed from this loft. We used to hear scratching noises up there all the time. It was literally like this, and it would be on the actual loft door, the hatch. So it was really bizarre. And I remember my mum calling up the council and being like, there's something going on up there, it's probably, I don't know, rats, pigeons, whatever, something's getting in there and it's scratching around. So the council came in and everything, all the insulation was completely ruffled up. So he smoothed everything out. He said there's no holes up there, there's no loose tiles, there's nothing like that. There's no sign of any wildlife up there. But he said, smoothed it all out for you, all's good, hopefully everything will be fine. A couple of days later, we could hear it again, and it's always at night. It's always in the early hours in the morning. It's never like during the day when, you know, you feel a little bit more at ease. It was always late at night. So again, we could hear this noise, this scratching. We went up and had a look. We're like, what is going on up there? But the scratch marks were not on the inside, they were on the outside. So I remember us looking up and there just being these scratch marks all over the loft hatch. It was so creepy. I remember being so completely freaked out by this. But what really topped it all off was the fact that at this point we had cats, and they used to sit at the bottom in the hallway upstairs, and they would just stare up, and they would just sit there and they'd go like for ages. Oh my good god, I can't even explain. It was so frightening. You'd be laying in bed at night and then you just hear the scratching, and then you just hear the cats, and you know that they're at the bottom there and they're wailing, and they're wailing at something, you don't know what it is. It was absolutely terrifying. So yet again, my mum called up the council and she called them out, and out they come. They went up there, everything looked absolutely fine. It was all ruffled up again, smoothed it all out. Still can't explain. There was no scratches on the inside. Again, it was on the outside, and they were getting more and more as time went on. Then around the time I was 13, my younger brother was about 3 at the time, and every night for about a couple of weeks he kept crying and refused to go to bed because he kept saying, there's a face in the wall, there's a face in the wall. And he was terrified to go to bed at night, so my mum always had to lay with him, but he would just cry and cry and cry. He kept saying that there was an old man, and we didn't have a clue at the time. We just thought, you know, this is a bit weird. Maybe he's having bad dreams, he's having nightmares, he's seeing things that aren't actually there. Everything was still going on, taps running, eerie feeling in the house, scratches up in the loft, cats wailing at the ceiling. It was all still going on. But he started doing this and we were like, okay, this isn't quite right. Fast forward like a month or two later, we had found out that our granddad had died, and he had never met him before. He was too little. We just weren't in contact with that side of the family. And we were going through photo albums, just reminiscing as you do. And my brother said, "It's the man." And he freaked out completely. He kept saying that was the man. And the man in the photograph was our granddad. And he said at the same point that he had died, which we didn't know at the time, that he was seeing the face in the wall, and the face in the wall was our granddad. And every time he went to bed at night, he could see this face in the wall. So many creepy things happening in this house, I can't even describe it. I remember my eldest sister, gosh, she must have been in her teens at the time, mid-teens. And I remember one night I was sharing a room with my other older sister, and we had two side beds. They were literally like this, and there's more to come from this, but our beds were like that, and we had like a little bedside table in the centre. It was so small, that's all you fit in was those two beds and a little TV at the end. In the middle of the night, our eldest sister came running into our bedroom in tears, and she jumped into my sister's bed. She was like, "I'm not going, I can't sleep in there." And we were like, "What's wrong?" And I just remember feeling this horrible, shaky, awful fear, knowing that something had happened. And she said, "I woke up and someone was holding me down." She was so scared. She said that she woke up and she felt like she was suffocating, that she couldn't breathe, and it was just this pressure of being held down. She spent the night top-tailing with my sister, and when she left, when she was with her partner and she had kids, I bet she was absolutely over the moon to leave that house. So me and my sister still shared a bedroom, but my younger brother got put into my elder sister's old bedroom, and things continued to happen. The door of the loft, my mum kept noticing that it was open ajar. Like, we'd go out, we'd come home and notice that the loft had opened up just a tad. It's like, that's really weird. And things would happen like that night my Barbie van would just slowly go across the floor. I'd wake up and just watch it rolling across the floor. And the house was level. The house was not slanted in any way. There was nothing that could have done this. And then it would be my brother's aeroplane that he had hanging from the ceiling would start spinning and speed up from the ceiling. And there was no answer to it. Toys would go off. Toys you can explain, batteries start to go. If you leave the button on, they start to go and they talk through the night. To actually have your Barbie car start moving across the floor was absolutely terrifying. And every time this happened, I used to just wake up with my heart racing, my legs like jelly, and literally terrified. I don't know how many times I can say literally, but I literally was terrified. When this kept happening, and every time we came home, whether it be home from school, home from being in town, and the loft hatch had moved, my mum decided to get some little gold latches, and she put them on so that you just clicked the latches in and it would stay shut. The scratching noises continued. Scratch marks on the outside of the loft door appeared more. And we'd come home and the latches were unlocked and it was ajar. This was so unexplainable. Literally, we cannot put, and I'm saying it again, that word I'm going to stop saying, we cannot find the reason as to why this actually happened. And it still baffles me to this day, but it's a house I know I would never want to step foot in again, only out of curiosity, but I would never want to ever live there ever again. When my younger brother went to school, we did something that was really, really stupid, should never be done ever, and I am not telling anyone to do this because it's wrong. It's not wrong, but it's just something that I wouldn't ever get involved in again. We did a homemade Ouija board. Now this was made out of I believe ours was on the other side of our table, and we put all the letters and the numbers and the yes and no and we did a glass. So we had the glass, you turn it upside down, each of you put your fingers on it gently and then see if anything happens. It happened a lot, and it's something that would never do again, but it happened a lot. And every time we went on, we started getting this same person, if that's the right word to use, come on. And he described himself and said that his name was Jeff's. So it became almost like a communication, more like a chat with your friend. We would go on and we'd be like, "You there, Jeff's?" And it would go, "Yes." And we would chat. And eventually he started explaining how he died. He said that he was on his way up to Stansted Airport on his motorcycle and he crashed and he died. He said that his real name was Ian Foreman and he was buried in the cemetery in Helsham in East Sussex. So I said, "Oh, can I go there and have a look?" No, 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 no. He was adamant I was not allowed to have a look. I should have left it at that, because when I was out working, I was about 15, 16 at the time, and I went out working. I was working for the Salvation Army. We used to go across Sussex, Kent, West Sussex, and just collect everything from those banks that you donate to that you find in car parks. And we were in Helsham, and the man that was working at the time, he went into Waitrose in Helsham, and he was just parading around getting some lunch. And I went into the cemetery next door, and I thought I'd have a quick look. I never found anything, but I didn't look properly. I mean, if I was to look now, I would look properly. And then when we went back onto the Ouija board, there was a lot of bad feeling, and I mean a lot. There was really like fast moving. Sometimes it shot off the board and the cup would just go. I remember saying that I had been there, and he was really angry. Like, we never ever got a normal chat, if that's the right word, on there again, and things started happening a little bit more. I remember shortly after I had a big room to myself, and I was in there, and I woke up about 3 o'clock in the morning, and all I could hear was banging, and I mean proper furniture in your dining room, tables and chairs, cupboards, the lot. It was just bang, 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 and I was like, oh my god, literally I froze, and my heart was racing, my legs were like jelly. I was terrified. And then I heard our cats come running up the stairs. They came flying up the stairs, and they flew across me, across my bed. And the smell, oh my goodness me, I can't even describe it. The smell was so bad. They were all completely bristled up, and they were going like that. So scared. I remember calling my mum. My mum was in the next room, and I was going, "Mum, Mum," but I was trying to do it in a way that was enough that she could hear, but I didn't want to be heard because I was so scared. Anyway, I went into her room. I remember going through the hallway. I remember coming out of my bedroom and just sort of going really like this up across the landing. I didn't want to look down the stairs. There was no way in hell I was going to look down those stairs. And I went into my mum and I said, "Something's going on downstairs." And she was like, "What?" Anyway, she got up and she went down. She went, "Look, there's nothing down there." I explained the cats. She saw the cats. They were nuts. They wanted to get out. They didn't care that they were on the top floor of the house. They wanted to get out. And just talking about it and just remembering it and the feeling, like I can see it as clear as day. I can see everything. It just frightens the life out of me even to this day. Which also brings back something that I've missed. I knew I'd missed something. When me and my sister shared a bedroom, we used to have the 2 beds like this, like I said, and underneath our beds we had our Barbie dolls, a Monopoly board, a few videos, VHS videos, and that was pretty much it. And we had a door that had a key. It was a very old-fashioned door, and it had like a little old-fashioned iron key. And I remember my mum having a go at us saying, "You've trashed your room again." We're like, "We haven't done anything. We got up there and be like, we didn't do this. The mattresses were slightly off the bed, duvets were everywhere, sheets were off the bed, Monopoly, money, little houses, everything was just everywhere. Looked like someone had just gone with it in the air. I was like, but we didn't do this. So she was like, you, as you do, as a mum, we all do it. You little gits, you ain't going in here again. She tidied that room up because she went, you were staying downstairs for the rest of the day. So bored out her brain, stay down there. She tidied it all up, locked the door, kept the key on her. I have company. She kept the key on her. It's really freaking me out right now because my dog is here in the garden with me and he's growling at something that's not there. It's kind of freaking me out. So come bedtime, we went up, she unlocked the door and the whole room was completely trashed again. And she left it immaculate. The beds were perfect. Everything was made. Everything was back underneath the beds. She unlocked that door and it was trashed. There was Monopoly money everywhere. And at this point she was like, something needs to be done. The loft kept undoing. We kept hearing noises up there. It was just getting too much. So I remember my mum saying, I've contacted some nuns and they're going to come round. She contacted the church, which was in Hampden Park, called the Broadway Church. She contacted them and they said that they would send out a couple of nuns, come and have a look at the house, come and, you know, talk about the situation, this, that and the other. They came in. I remember me and my sister having to take our little brother out for the day because we weren't supposed to be there. And she dealt with it. She spoke to them. They went around every room. They blessed every room in that house. They said they could feel something was there. It wasn't very friendly. And, oh my God, it's given me really... It was horrible. It was really, really horrible. And they said that it was like on the grounds of like a pathway that went through and our house was situated on it. And they said they could feel something there, but it wasn't consistent. So they blessed every room of the house. And it was quiet, I'd say, for probably about a month or so. And then it just happened all over again. There was literally to the point where we were all, if we went to the toilet or we went up and down the stairs, we would go together. It was always a work in pairs situation. And we would go around like crabs. So my mum put it like crabs. We would just be sort of going up the stairs like this. So we had our eyes around us at all times. Because this house wasn't just like strange things happen. The feeling in this house was horrendous. And we used to go around like this together. And one would wait outside the other for the toilet. And then the other one would go in. And then and it'd always be like that. Are you still there? Yes, I'm still there. Are you still out there? Yes, I'm still here. And if we weren't like that, we were terrified. And if we watched anything on TV in the front room, we'd always have the front room door shut because we'd always hear noises upstairs, whether it's footsteps or banging or doors, taps, scratching. It was horrendous. So we had the nuns back about 3 times. Not that kind of nun. And every time it was fine for a little bit, probably a month, and then it would just happen all over again. There was one particular night I remember actually seeing something. I was so scared we ended up going round to our neighbours, and she still lives next door to that house even to this day. Me and my sister were looking after our younger brother. He was asleep upstairs, and me and my sister in the front room, and we were just waiting around. We were obsessed with Titanic at the time, obsessed with it, and we used to role play it. I was always Leonardo DiCaprio, obviously, and she was always Kate Winslet. She's gonna hate me for this. But we did, and we kept hearing all these noises upstairs, and it was so scary, and we were on our own, and we knew what that house was like. So it escalated to the point we had to go and get our brother out of his bed and bring him downstairs with us. My dog's off again, it's freaking me out. We were downstairs and we didn't know what to do because we could hear it all going on up there. Scratching, noises, doors, footsteps. That we agreed, let's just go around to the neighbours, let's just go around because this is this is really scary now. We can't settle. We didn't know when our mum was going to be back. It was late at night. And as we looked up the stairs, it looked like, because our front door was here, and we had like this little downstairs toilet, and then the stairs went up. And at the top of the stairs you had the banister and just this large big wall. And I remember looking up the stairs, and it just looked like this silhouette of someone rather big, I'm assuming maybe a man, I don't know, in like a top hat, and it was just shadowing on the wall. And we have never run so fast out of that house. We went round to next doors, and we just sat. I remember crying my eyes out, and I was like, I don't want to go back there. I can't sleep there ever again. And it was like that until I left. And I left in my, well, I pretty much left around sort of 17, because I was in and out all the time with the guy I was seeing at the time. And then I left completely. I lived with my dad, and then I got a place with Nick, and I've been with Nick ever since I was 20. So but my mum put in for a swap. She put in for a house swap. She just couldn't take it anymore, and she moved out. So she had found this woman who wanted to swap with her, and they did an exchange. I think it was a 3-way exchange, actually. That poor woman moved in, and she contacted the council because she wanted to leave immediately. She couldn't understand how we lived in that house. She said that her and all of her family were having to sleep in the front room because of everything that was happening. I don't know what's happening because we didn't ask. My old neighbour who lives next door knows, but I'm not delving into that. She had to sleep in the front room every night with her family because the rest of the house, things were happening. And I can imagine, because we lived there and it was terrifying. If I could go back, probably with my mum, and spend the night there, just the two of us. I love haunted things. I love ghost hunts. I love the idea of exploring places, but if I could spend the night there, I don't know if I'll be able to. It was horrible, really horrible. But that's everything. That is everything from that. I hope you enjoyed this video. I've got so many more stories that have happened to us in the past. Literally, we have been plagued with it, and it's only been the last sort of 15 years, I think. No, it's not. Take that back. Something happened to me in 2013. That's another story. If you want to hear any more of these, then let me know. I hope you enjoyed this story, and well, it's not a story, well, it's a real one because it happened. But yeah, it's a story time. I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know what you think down below. And again, I know people don't believe this sort of thing, but this actually happened to us in our life, and I will never ever forget it. And I really feel happy that I've shared this with you, because now I feel like I've got it there, solid. It's not just all left in here. I finally got it out and I can share it with you, and I'm really glad I did this. I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know what you think down below, and yeah, rest in peace out, everyone. See what I did there? See what I did? Okay, thanks for watching.